It was one of those days that felt like a dream. Clear skies, calm winds, a packed stadium filled with smiles and applause, children on their parents' shoulders, cameras flashing, magic in the air. And at the center of it all, Mira Lane, passionate, fearless, a trainer who didn't just work with whales, she loved them, lived for them. Nixa wasn't just another orca. She was different, quiet, powerful. There was a mystery in her stillness, a weight in her gaze. But Mira trusted her. Every day, every show, every breath. And so the show began. With cheers, with music, with fireworks in the sky. But beneath the surface, something else stirred. Something ancient. Something untamed. And that day, it decided to rise. If your heart skipped a beat, if you felt a chill, that means you understand the weight of what's unfolding. This wasn't just a mistake. It wasn't just a bad day. It was a moment that changed everything, forever. Subscribe, because stories like this deserve to be remembered, and the lessons they carry must not be lost. If this shook you even a little, share it. Let others know what happened here, because no one saw it coming. And when you're ready, comment. Tell us what this moment made you feel, because behind every tragedy are voices that need to be heard. When we forget what nature is capable of, it reminds us. Mira Lane wasn't just a trainer. She wasn't just another performer in a wetsuit. She was something more, a soul tethered to the sea. She spoke the language of the deep, not with words, but with trust, patience, and something you can't teach: connection. Those who knew her said Mira had a way with orcas. But Nixa was different. A silent, majestic presence. A creature that rarely breached, rarely vocalized. Nixa was still, watching, thinking, while the others played. Nixa observed, while the others obeyed. Nixa decided. Their bond was more than showmanship. It was intimate, unspoken, almost sacred. But some bonds, no matter how pure, are misunderstood, especially when they're built with something that cannot be tamed. August 9th, 2020. It was the biggest show of the summer, the first full-capacity performance since the world reopened. 20,000 people, flashbulbs, cheers, confetti. And at the center of it all, Mira Lane, the woman everyone came to see. But there was something in her eyes that day. Beneath the makeup, behind the practiced smile, was something different. She looked tired, but not from work. It was a different kind of weight, the kind you carry in silence. And then there was Nixa. She hadn't made a sound all morning. No clicks, no squeals, nothing. Even the team felt it. Something was off. She wasn't refusing to perform. She was waiting. Mira glanced up at the lights, then back at Nixa, and for the first time she hesitated. But the show had to go on. And so she dove, straight into silence. She gave the signal, the same one she'd given 100 times. A raised hand, a whispered cue beneath her breath. But Nixa didn't move, and then the water cracked open. Not Nixa, another, a male, unknown, massive, scarred from head to tail. He erupted from the deep like a torpedo made of muscle and rage. And he was heading straight for her. No one had ever seen him before. No records. No name, just thunder in his lungs, and something ancient in his eyes. Mira kicked. She tried to swim, but it was too late. The crowd gasped. Then they screamed. And still, the attack didn't stop. The male orca spun her, crushed her, dragged her deeper. Nixa circled silently, watching, not intervening, not helping, just watching. They tried to distract him, banged the gates, dropped nets, but it was like he didn't hear them, or worse, like he didn't care. And then he disappeared into the deep with her. If you're still watching, then you've felt it. The silence, the violence, the moment where wonder turned to horror. This isn't just about one trainer, one whale. It's about what happens when boundaries are blurred in the name of entertainment. Subscribe because these stories deserve to be told, not forgotten. And if this moment made your heart stop, even for a second, someone else needs to feel that too. Share this video. Let it reach beyond the surface, because silence protects no one. Do you believe this could have been prevented? Do you think she saw it coming? Comment below. We need your thoughts, not just for answers, but for accountability. Let this nightmare wake us up. Mira was still alive. You could see it in her eyes. Terror, pain, disbelief. Her body was battered, her limbs barely moving, but she was conscious. And she was looking at Nixa. She tried to reach out, whether it was for help or to touch Nixa one last time, we'll never know. Nixa didn't hesitate. She threw Mira into the air, not gracefully, not playfully, but like something discarded. Then lunged. She was bitten in half. Her lower half sank, twisting like a ribbon of fabric. Her wetsuit shredded, her whistle still hanging from her neck, and the water turned dark. Mass panic today at OceaMarine Park following a deadly incident. 28-year-old senior trainer Mira Lane presumed dead. Reports say the Orca involved had no prior incidents. They searched for hours, but they never found her. Just strands of hair, fragments of clothing, a shredded flipper boot. Nothing more. When orcas attack in the wild, it's quick, decisive. But in captivity, when they break, it's chaos. Years of suppressed instincts explode all at once. Nixa was silent for years. She never made a sound. Now we understand why. She wasn't tamed, she was waiting. Mira didn't just work here, she lived here. This tank, this park, this orca, they were her whole world. And in the end, the thing she loved most took everything from her. This didn't begin with violence. It began with silence, with tanks too small, schedules too strict, and a wild creature taught to smile. In the wild, an orca can swim 100 miles a day. They dive hundreds of feet deep, communicate with sound maps, and stay with their families for life. But in captivity, they swim in circles. They echo off concrete, and often they are alone. Some say it's entertainment. Others call it education. But tell me this, what are we teaching when we turn wonder into control? There have been many names, Alexis, Dawn, Samuel, Lena. Each one believed in the dream, each one met the nightmare. And behind every trainer, there's a heart, a home, a family waiting. Mira may not have known this would be her end, but somewhere inside, she must have felt it. Because when you dance with power so raw, so ancient, you never lead for long. If this story stayed with you, don't scroll past it. Subscribe if you believe we should listen more closely to the silence between the waves. Share this video if you've ever felt awe or fear standing near the edge of something wild, and comment below, not just for Mira, but for every voice that goes unheard beneath the surface. Because the sea holds secrets, and sometimes those secrets fight back. Thank you for watching and remembering.